Hi art friends! In this video, I'm going to talk about Zentangling. Zentangles are an easy, fun method of drawing that is meant to be relaxing and even is a mindfulness practice. You often see Zentangles in coloring books, and today I'm going to show you how you can create your very own. This is the one we're going to be working on today, but these are two different ways that you can use Zentangles to make beautiful pictures. For this project, you are going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, an eraser, and a marker. Now, you don't have to use a permanent marker. You could just use some washable markers. You could also use colored pencils or crayons. I like to use a marker because it creates nice bold lines. Then I can come back in and actually use it as a coloring page. To start, I'm going to draw the shape of a flower on my paper. Now, you can draw that anywhere you'd like. I typically like to put it in one of the corners or on the side of the paper, just so it fills up a good portion of my paper. And you don't have to draw a flower if you don't want to. You can come up with some other shapes or little areas that you put different Zentangles in, whatever you would like. Next, we're going to start to put in our patterns or our tangles. Now, if you're struggling with some ideas, typically at school, I like to give my kids a few different things. First off, I give them one of my Zentangle packets that has a lot of different ideas in it. And we look at these and discuss how some of them actually look a lot like things we would see in nature, which then prompts us to open up the windows and look outside. There are patterns and textures all around you, from the bricks on a building to tablecloths. Leaves, flowers, even bird feathers have texture and pattern to them. Using these ideas, we can come up with our own tangles for our Zentangle. I like to make an extra little loop inside my flower petals, just because this separates one pattern from the next. But once again, this is your picture and you can do whatever you would like. Now, typically I start with the middle of the flower and work my way out. But I think today I'm going to also do some of my background as well. Now, I'm going to make some wavy lines that extend out from my flower. Now, I don't want them too close together because I don't want my patterns to be really, really tiny. It gets kind of confusing sometimes when you do that. So I'm going to actually start with the petals of my flower, and I'm just going to put in some patterns, some lines. Is a good place to start. And fill in that entire space. Once that's filled in, I can move on to my next petal, where I'm just going to use circles. Now, I will tell you that it's a lot easier if you take your time. It's okay if you make mistakes because you can always turn it into something else. This is supposed to be a relaxing drawing method, so don't stress. Take some deep breaths if you're getting frustrated and try to turn it into something new. This one's probably my favorite, which is the bumpy line. The one that kind of looks like scales. And if you notice, I'm starting from the bottom this time, and then this one I started from the top. I'm going to use some curly lines. Now, I like to tell my kids when they're doing this project at school, that when you're putting patterns on your Zentangle picture, you want to make sure that you don't have patterns that are too similar next to each other, because that can get confusing if you go back to color it, or if you stop your drawing and go take a break and then come back to it. It does create a really visually interesting picture if you have a lot of different patterns near each other. I'm just going to do some simple lines on this one. Coming into the middle of my flower, I'm actually going to make a few more of those little rainbow shapes, curved lines, and I'm going to put different patterns in each one of them. Now I went straight to working with marker just so you could see my lines better, but I do suggest you work with pencil first unless you're really comfortable with your Zentangles. Another pattern I really like to use is the checkerboard pattern. My lines aren't perfectly straight, and that's okay. I'm constantly turning my paper so I can get better angles on what I'm drawing. And then I color in every other square or rectangle. Going back to doing some shapes. Zentangles look really complicated when they're all completed, but they're actually really simple, because all you have to do is take them one area at a time. I think next I'm going to draw some hearts. Next I'm going to do some swirls. Your patterns can be close together, they can be really spread out, whatever you would like. This is your picture. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. I suggest you look up some Zentangle ideas on Google. You're going to find lots of crazy intricate patterns, but just remember that those artists who worked on their pictures worked on it one piece at a time. Break it down into smaller chunks and it's more manageable. Now it looks like we got just 3 more panels left. I'm just going to do some simple lines on this one. Really close together. Over here, I think I'm going to do some lightning bolts. And last but not least, I think I'm going to do some raindrop shapes. Now, once you're done with your Zentangle, you can come back in and color it with any media you like, or you can simply leave it black and white. The really fun part about this project is when you do multiples, you can actually match them up to make a larger picture. And it doesn't have to match up perfectly, but you kind of get the idea. I hope you have a lot of fun with this project, and you have learned a new method of drawing. This is called Zentangling, and now you can create your own Zentangled coloring sheets. Have fun, guys.